Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my 1979 Lotus Esprit S2 restoration. So I've had a fairly busy week trying to work on this car in my lunch break and things, so let's have a look at what I've been up to. As you can see, I've been working mainly on the interior of the car, just getting the various bits and pieces out of there. So if you remember from last time, I got the driver's side door card and sill panel off, and I still had the passenger side to do, so I did that. And I've removed various other bits of trim from the car, which I was kind of using the inside of the car to store bits as I was moving it and stuff. But now I've got the seats out, for example, more permanently, wrapped them up. But before I did that, I tried to treat all the leather items with some of the leather care product that I have, just to keep them nice and moisturised as they go into more of a more permanent storage there. So a couple of things I did take out were the dashboard and the centre console. Two bits of that were a bit tricky. One, there's a bar which attaches the dashboard and the centre console to kind of the middle of the car, and as I was taking it out it felt a bit stuck, but I couldn't see how it was attached, and I think I was just a bit rough with it and the fiberglass broke off, so I'm stuck with a strip of fiberglass stuck to the car there. I've tried WD-40, I've tried my pliers, can't get it off, but that'll be something I have to repair in the future. So, you know, not the end of the world. I'm gonna have to learn how to do some fiberglass repairs at some point, so may as well be on a bit that's more or less out of sight most of the time. The other thing that was a bit tricky was the radio. So I disconnected it pretty easily, but then actually getting it off of the center console, it seems to be attached by some nuts that go through the controls, and one came off really easily. I could just do it with a socket on my fingers kind of thing, but the other one, the whole threaded bit it's attached to seems to be spinning round, and I don't really want to be too rough with that because I think it might even be the original radio. So if there's any Lotus buffs out there, if they know whether the Hitachi radio that I've got in the centre console there is actually the original one, then let me know, because I'd like to retain it if it is, although it does look rather worse for wear at the moment. So I've spent a fair bit of time on the interior of the car, and I think it's kind of time to change it up a bit, just for something different to do. So let's have a look in the front of the car and see what's going on in there. So here we are at the front of the car, and I don't know if you've seen it on camera at all before, but the whole bonnet is covered in these micro blisters, and that's probably as a result of being stored in that damp garage for 22 years. Now I've always gone on the basis that the car was in that garage for around 22 years. The person I bought it off told me the previous owner died around 1998. However, when I came to declare this car off the road, the last time it was taxed was actually 1988. So either I've had wrong date given to me or something like that, or something's happened to the car after only being 9 years old to warrant having it put in a garage and never been driven since. So there's probably something I'll find out about this car as I go along, if it is something disastrously mechanical wrong with it. But just amazing that this car was in that garage probably for more like 30 years than 20 years than what I originally thought. So kind of strange, because it kind of meant that this car was quite young to be put away, so very, very odd, but that does kind of mean some good stuff to me. So even though the outside of this car and the interior are very in very poor shape, what's under here is actually a bit of a surprise, so let's take a look. So where the outside of the car looks more or less knackered, I think the inside of this front boot area kind of gives more of an indication of the originality and limited use of the car prior to going into that garage. So the stickers inside here are all fine. There's surface rust because there was condensation and stuff in the garage, but you know, the stickers have been really well preserved. The paintwork in here is actually quite bright and probably the best indication of the original colour, which is consistent with the rest of the car, but it's got a nicer sheen to it. The other bits and pieces that hint to its originality are the front the spare wheel in the front there still bearing the paper tag, and it's stuff like that I really want to make sure I retain, because I think it's all part of this car's history, and it's kind of originality points. Even though so much of the rest of the car is probably going to have to be replaced, it'll be nice to keep the things I can keep and keep as original as possible. So I think what I'm going to do is do a bit of work in here, try and get rid of some of these like brake fluid and clutch fluid reservoirs or whatever is down here, as well as wiper motors and that kind of thing, and probably the electrical connections, so I can start to get the wiring loom out. I probably won't get it all done today, so I'll just make a start, and then that'll be, you know, a future video there. So yeah, I better go on with it. Okay, so that's just about it for today's video. Managed to get the clutch master cylinder out, but struggled with the brake one for a couple of reasons. One is that these bolts down here are quite rusted and can't really get them off too easily. It's hard to get a socket on them. And the other thing is the pin on the pedal is stuck in place, so I'm going to have to think of a way of getting that out. But you know, Lotus is here now, so I'm able to work on this during the week, and I'm hopefully going to bring you another update very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.